It's party time!
Viva Pinata, filled with fun.
Filled with fun!
Don't enjoy them all. Viva Pinata, filled with fun.
Filled with fun!
Viva Pinata, don't be enjoy.
Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's they made what into a TV series, Viva Pinata, episode 14. To Catch a Pinata and Invasion of the Boogie Snatchers, aired February 24th, 2007. We're now into the second half of season 1.
Yeah.
So we'll be, we're slowly getting there. We're going to be here a while, folks. Weekly or not that we put these up, and short as we try to keep them around 10 minutes, it's still a drag.
Yeah.
Segment 1, To Catch a Pinata. It's party time again. Whoop whoop, Damon's favourite thing.
Yeah.
All the pinatas are getting their candiosity measured and some are being sent to parties. Paulie and Fergie are hiding out inside Pinata Central, which seems really done, but Fergie thinks basically keep my enemy close. If I'm here, he'll never look for me where I wouldn't go. But immediately Langston finds them and gives chase.
Yep.
They manage to hide and Langston ends up in the cannon, but he gets launched to a party instead. And I thought this was weird. Why has Paulie suddenly got an issue with going to parties now as well?
Yeah.
Because this whole episode is based around how Fergie are regular and Paulie don't want to go to a party.
Yeah, because it reveals at some point in this episode too that he's never been to one either.
Yeah,
I'm sure in the first few episodes he had been to
I don't necessarily know if we've seen him go to a party.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
often see them go to parties. But yeah, I thought it was really, really odd as well. I was like, oh, we're doing 2 of them now?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, please don't do this. Anyway, later, they and the other pinatas are relaxing on the beach and Hudson reveals that the paper is advertising for Langston's job while he's away. Fergie suggests that he could be the pinata wrangler. And if he was that, he could avoid going to parties that way. Okay, all right, not the worst idea.
Yeah.
Hudson dismisses that as it requires Fergie to be things he's not, such as on time, other things like that. But he insists he's going to get the job. So Fergie is sent to see the big boss, who turns out to be a voice coming from a bowl of fruit. And I was like, who is this? And I wondered, and I wrote it here.
Yeah.
Is that us? Is that supposed to be the player? Is that supposed to be the player, right?
That's not a bad call. I thought it might be maybe something he knows. Maybe the big boss is one of his friends.
I thought they might reveal it, but they don't, and I don't think it's any of that. I'm wondering if it's supposed to represent us as the player.
That's a good shout, actually. That's a very
Because that would be us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We'd be the boss deciding things.
Yep.
So I wondered that, yeah. Fergie suggests that he could be the pinata wrangler to the boss, convincing him to give me the job, but it doesn't go well. Until Fergie reveals that he can wrangle up the pinatas who try to hide, as he does the same. He knows where they hide. And the boss decides to give him a go. And I was like, you prick. You horrible little betrayer. Backstabber.
Proper, yeah.
Unbelievable. Later, Fergie is leaning into the job and sending pinatas to pies. Because it turns out Fergie's quite good at this job. Mm-hmm. He is a little bit of a tyrant when it comes to decisions. But that impresses the boss. The boss now reveals that Fergie has now... Basically, you can have the job full time. He'll sack Blanston if he can get Paulie to a party. And this is where it's revealed that apparently Paulie's never been to a party.
Yeah.
Now, that could be 100% correct. I can't remember. I'm not going back to watch them. But it could be correct. And but I felt sorry for Langston. I was like, man, Fergie, man, you are screwing everyone over. This isn't the first time I think the show was sending the wrong message.
Yes.
And I think, again, here, basically, Fergie never gets his comeuppance.
No.
He never seems to learn a lesson. I hope there's a point where he does.
Well, surely the show's going to end with him going to a party, surely.
Right?
Yeah.
Not wanting to be sacked, Fergie agrees to do the job. Afterwards, Fergie begs Paulie to go to a party as a favour to him, but Paulie refuses. So then I was like, well, clearly Paulie is like Fergie then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd just be like, fine, I'll go to a party.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, I do like the line system. Well, would you do it for me?
Yeah, would you do it for me? And he wouldn't.
Nope.
Yeah. Fergie tries to order him to do it, so Paulie runs off. Langston is back now and has gone to see the boss, and he discovers that he's being replaced by Fergie. Hearing that Fergie is going to get his job if he gets Paulie to a party, Langston suggests that he can get both Paulie and Fergie to parties. I'm like, yeah, of course you can, mate. Yeah, you've done such a great job of getting Fergie to the party now. And the boss agrees that if you can do that, you can keep your job. Meanwhile, Fergie is still chasing down Paulie, and Franklin's honesty reveals the lad's location. Doesn't matter though, as Langston arrives and demands Fergie come with him. Right, because that's going to work, isn't it?
Yep.
Idiot. It's Benny Hill style chase music around the island. And this made me laugh. Is they clearly are trying to use Benny Hill music, but basically either can't get the rights, can't afford it, whatever the deal is there. So it's a variation that you'd clearly be like, that's supposed to be Benny Hill music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that? Like that. But it's not actually that. But my God, they switched to video game.
I did like that.
They actually switched to a video game scene here.
I did like that.
When they're crossing the logs and having to stop and wait, and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I did like that. And then, of course, obviously, Langston falls in.
Yeah, it made me laugh. The chase ends up back in Pinata Central and ends with Paulie being trapped in the launcher as Fergie reveals he's gone mad with power.
Again, it's not the first time.
No, but I like it.
Yeah.
However, Paulie gets sad and that knocks some sense into Fergie and he lets him out with an apology. Too late though, as Langston gets them both into the launcher, but now he can't launch it as he doesn't have his key card. Fergie does, and Fergie's inside the rocket. He tries to make a deal with Paulie to launch Fergie alone, and Paulie agrees, coming out with the card. And it looks like it's finally all over for Fergie, but of course it's a trick, and Paulie ends up launching Langston to another party. There's a lot of energy in this show, and I like the idea of the whole big boss thing being brought into it and elements like that, but it is tiresome to just be focused around Fergie at a party again.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say I realise at this stage, I really like Fergie. I think the voice actor is doing an incredible job.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think there's a lot of energy in the performance.
Yep, definitely.
So I didn't hate it. I like the idea. I like how he behaves when he's the pinata wrangler.
Yeah.
I just don't like the confusion area where they've added Paulie to the mix now, and it does go back to the same old thing. Fergie doesn't want to go to a party.
Yeah, and going forward, I'll be keeping an eye on that to see if he does go to a party.
Yeah, well, I don't even think we need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
I think
well,
we'll bloody remember it. Yeah. All right, segment 2, Invasion of the Boogie Snatchers. It's a Professor Pester segment.
Yep, good.
It's morning on the island and Paulie is feeling good, but the sound of his annoying neighbour Spaulding Spearmint singing ruins his morning. And yeah, holy shit, it is an annoying voice.
It is annoying.
It is an annoying voice. Paulie shakes him out of his tree and shouts at him about being a bad singer. Paulie then breaks his glasses, resulting in the pair fighting throughout his house, and basically we start a feud here. After getting rid of Spaulding, Paulie makes some breakfast but gets blinded by eggs. While he can't see, someone changes the CD in his jukebox and it turns him into a zombie. And across the island we see this happening everywhere. All the pinatas are being turned into sort of zombies, like that, you know?
Yeah.
They stagger across the island, hypnotised to Professor Pester's lair, and it turns out it was his idea, and he's using a hypnophone to bring the pinatas here so he can claim their candy when they burst through too much dancing. Why? It's so complicated. I was like, okay then, could you not just smash?
Whack me ahead.
Yeah. The only one that seems to be unaffected is Spaulding. This annoyed me, and I realised, shit, we're going to do a Donkey Kong thing here, which is we're going to randomly introduce a character for one episode only, who will be the MacGuffin, and then we'll never see him again.
Yep.
Damn it. And he continues to sing as he sees the pinatas heading into Professor Pester's lair. Seeing Paulie, he decides to get payback and starts to sing in his face and brain. And we see here that him singing directly into his ear knocks Paulie out of his hypnosis, but it's too late as Paulie then falls in the lair with the other pinatas. Yep. I really like the shot of seeing the inside of the pinatas' heads. I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah. Paulie, seeing Professor Pest on his machine, and him and Spaulding together, they realise what is going on. And Paulie tries to break them out of their trance. Nothing works, though he can't do it. Except Spaulding uses his horrible voice to cut through Professor Pester's song, and that breaks them out of hypnosis. So it seems like Spaulding is our key to fixing the issue here.
Yep.
Paulie realises that Spaulding can save the rest, but can't bring himself to be nice to the bird, so he won't help. I do like that idea here. It's got to be kind.
Yeah.
You're not the worst singer on the island. It's like, yeah, that's nice. Spaulding does agree to help after making Paulie sing in different styles to prove that he is the worst singer on the island and not Spaulding. Still disagree.
Yep.
Still disagree. Spaulding's voice is annoying.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
It works, and they go back to Professor Pester's lair to save the rest of the pinatas. During this, Professor Pester doesn't notice a single thing, and the ruffians aren't around anywhere in all of this section. Yeah. They destroy his machine and then dance him around violently. So that's his punishment.
Yep.
Spaulding is then able to break everyone out of hypnosis, and Professor Pester has failed again. And I was wondering, is he worse than King K. Rool here? At least King K. Rool got his hands in the coconut every so often.
Yeah, I mean, his ideas are terrible, for God's
Well,
sake.
I just thought, I want no candy, and that's the entire thing. It's not that inspired. Leaving the lair, the group has cheered as heroes. Sometime later, Paulie has come to thank Spaulding, but apparently the bird has moved out and has now moved in to Professor Pester's lair and is basically just there singing and annoying them. That's a really dumb ending.
Yeah,
that's a really dumb ending.
Yeah, that was just a quick way to end the episode. Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. What do you think of these two? The Catch a Pinata and Invasion of the Boogie Snatchers?
Poor.
Yeah,
poor.
both.
Yep.
Both. I like the first ones. I like to Catch a Pinata's energy. I like that aspect. But Boogie Snatchers, I think it's just terrible.
I like Professor.
Nah, it's not in this one though.
No, but I'm hoping that going forward, we're going to get more sour pinatas again. No,
yeah.
We see like the snail one.
I'd like to see
again.
more like that.
Yeah.
You know, I am glad that the majority of the show hasn't been like, oh, Professor Pester is going to be like King K. Rool, and every episode he's going to want to get pinatas, candy, and that's what we're going to do. It's just every now and again. And I get it, he's an idiot. He's a bad villain. That's the point. I completely get that. But this just felt a bit shit.
Yeah,
basically.
It was a poor one.
Yeah, and the moment Spaulding was introduced, I was like, okay, he's going to be involved in fixing this.
Yep.
You know? So it makes it poor overall.
And we probably want to see him again. You might see that odd little flash of him.
Nah, I doubt we'll see him again.
In a crowd, maybe in an audience, but
I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, there you go. Because he also moves in. You know, we wouldn't even notice him because at the end of the episode of Invasion of the Boogie Snatchers, it reveals he's got family and there's more of them. Poor segments, poor episode. What do you reckon? You got any thoughts on it? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?